All right, guys, let's get into these questions. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can for 3 or 4 minutes. All right, somebody said, can you please help me? I could swear you did a video showing how forward of you had a color palette that highlighted hard bottoms by turning it red. Am I dreaming? No, I use the blue color palette. That is where it makes really hard returns. It makes fish. Hard returns have a good red return. That's the color that I use for that. So it's a blue color palette, helps you with that. Here's a couple questions since you asked. If you could add or change one thing on your boat, what it would be? And since you're maybe going to Lake Fork, possibly doing a night video, would you consider dropping a light in the water for that night? We do that on home lake. No, I'm not going to drop the light in the water because I'll probably be covering water. I'm going to try to use the Livescope perspective mode where I can get over some of these flats and these points and see if I can throw like big spinner baits, big worms, and get a huge bite, because then big fish come up shallow at night and they really cruise those shallows. So not going to be dropping a light in the water. One thing that I could change on my boat, I would definitely take the bed liner bottom that I put in. It works good, but I would probably put seafoam, what do you call it, seafoam, hydroturf in there or something like that. That's probably what I would change in my boat right now. Everything else I'm really happy with. I really don't. I love the boat. I can go in the swamps and do lots of things like that I probably couldn't do if I had like when I had my Skeeter ZX200, I couldn't fish half the places I fish now. All right, what would be your favorite bait for bass fishing in the month of May? Well, in the South, I like to throw big swim baits or glide baits. I like to throw frogs because that's when this really happens. But my favorite bait of all time is a wobble head. It's called a wobble head. It's not the wobble head that you know where it's a wobble jig head. It's not that. It's a wobble head bait. I've got a video coming out on it. And I'm telling you, you boys up north, you've never seen it before because it is a local bait. But it would dominate over grass flats and things like that. I really believe that it would dominate smallmouth. Smallmouth have probably never seen anything like this. It is amazing bait, and I think it would be killer. But I'm gonna bring out a video on that. What would you consider the practical maximum depth to use in perspective mode? Well, my view on this has changed in the last couple weeks, and the video today is the first one where I'm going to change my mind a little bit and say it could get out to 30 foot of water, maybe even more. I'm still experimenting with this. I put out an initial video today. Go check that out. I'm a fairly inexperienced bass angler. Said, I just like to go out, catch some bass, have fun. Any size will do. Where on the lake should I go? What bait should I use to give me the best chance to catch? And that's hard because if you live on Lake Fork, you got to get out pretty much deep water. The fish just live in deep water. You might get an early few topwater bites. But in Louisiana, I would say find you some cypress trees, or if you have a lake with some cypress trees, find you a lake with some cypress trees. And, you know, if you're trying to catch just fish, go throw a shaky head around these cypress trees, you get bit. And there's no doubt about it. A shaky head on cypress trees will get you bit. You might not catch the biggest fish in the world, but you will catch fish. And if you got trees in your lake, find them, fish them, because they work. That's what I do. I love it. My all-time go-to favorite lure bait, it's the wobble head. I know people's going, what in the world is a wobble head? Trust me, I got a video coming, but it's a wobble head lures. Comes out of West Monroe, Louisiana. It looks like a snake coming through the water it does. It just looks like a snake, and it catches fish. Good gracious alive. What's my favorite lake to fish in Louisiana and why? I don't have a favorite lake. But I do like to fish backwater, swampy type areas, oxbow type lakes. I like to fish them because usually you can fish the whole lake in one day. There's a lot of those in Louisiana. And there's not a lot of pressure on the lakes. That's probably why I like to fish them. Not a lot of pressure on these lakes. That's one of the reasons. Personal best bass. I think 9.2 pounds, 9.3 pounds, something like that. And a crappie, I caught a 3-pounder earlier this year. Really pumped about that. Do you use your Livescope at night? I have used it at night. It's a different ball game. Whereas instead of staring off into dark space, you get to watch a screen. You get to concentrate on your bait a little bit more. And I find that I fish a little bit better with it. So And I am going to be going to Lake Fork here in the next few weeks. I'm doing a quest for 5 with Chris Gill from Asleep at the Reel. And I will also be trying to do a night trip, maybe, a night trip extended to the early morning, probably get the best of both worlds, get me a nap, come to the house. Going to do a 2-day trip. But I'm going pretty much for a night trip and to film the quest with Chris Gill. But guys, there's a few questions. That was fun. I may even, if there's more questions come in, might do some more questions and do another video later on in the week. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like and ring the bell.